Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Right Time, a Wave original. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. It is that time of week where we have a guest join us. Check him out at the Ringer. Check him out at the Athletic. That boy get all the money from all the places. Jason Goff, what's going on?
What's happening, brother? Good to see you. Good to talk to you. Always checking out all your stuff, man. It's been a nice lead into non-football.
Yo, that's what I'm
I've enjoying the
saying.
rap series. Howard Bryan is always amazing. Like I'm a big
Yeah.
consumer of the content, brother.
I appreciate that, man, because it's bad form to complain to the audience about how hard your job is. It is not that the job is going to be hard for these next few months. It's just not going to be as easy as it used to be.
Right.
Right? This is where we separate that butter soft shit from the leather on the fawns, right?
Oh my gosh. Hey, listen.
It's that time of year, and it's that time of year because this how we gonna start this.
All right.
I'm gonna ask you to pick a number between 1 and 10, and the number you choose determines which old people we gonna talk about.
Let's go 7. Let's go 7.
7 is an odd number, and I had decided that for odd numbers, we was going to discuss what happened in that game with the Lakers and the Magic on Tuesday night, where, look, the Lakers are an interesting situation because they are not as good as their record, right? Like, you don't have to watch them much to recognize that. You can look at the points scored versus points allowed that they have, and you can recognize this, right? The other thing that is interesting about them, and this is something I've said about him, I said this is also going to be the case with Karl-Anthony Towns, though I thought, look, this year is going to be as close as Luka Doncic MVP was ever going to be, right? Like, we know how it goes.
Right.
They ran your name down in the streets. They said you was lazy. They said you was fat, all of that, right? He came back. He not fat, but he do be whining. And that was that when Brian Windhorst did the thing about, down there, that's where the winners are. And that's not where you at. Right? He comports himself like a loser during basketball games. He does all the whining, and I don't think that many people pay that much attention to Dallas Mavericks basketball. As a result, they didn't give that much attention to his behavior. There was just kind of a recognition of it because, they be trying to let him slide for everything. And when say they, I mean italics they. So now he's with the Lakers. People are looking a little bit more. That fact that you don't play defense, especially since they got another one of you, and he from this country, and he don't play no defense either, right? Your 3 best players don't play defense, and you be whining all the time. And then at the end of this game, he hit LeBron with what they called in the NBA a grenade. You heard that one before about the grenade? And so what the grenade is when it's thought of when it's late in the shot clock. And this is such an NBA thing. When it's late in the shot clock, you just been dribbling, and then you throw that hot potato to somebody, and now they got to throw it up. And the reason that it's a problem for that person is not because it's late in the shot clock, is because you go mess up their field goal percentage, and that shit costs money. Right? Like that's a very NBA phenomenon, which is the grenade. But he threw the grenade to LeBron at the end of the game. Like, you had a shot. You didn't take the shot. LeBron had to shoot a turnaround 3-pointer. What are you doing?
So it's not only the field goal percentage stuff, but like you mentioned, the moment, it made me immediately think of my man Sam Mitchell, who so many times is sitting and talking basketball on the air and off the air when I was in Atlanta. Sam would talk about things, and then we get off the air, and he mentioned one time about Reggie Miller, and he goes, "Go back and look at some of those games with me and Reggie. For 3 quarters, you ain't passed me this bitch the entire game, and now all of a sudden, with 4 seconds left on the shot clock, the best player want to move the ball? Nope, take that bitch right back, right?" And in that moment, I think Luka knew too. Like, Luka knows the history of the game. Luka has said LeBron James is one of his favorite, if not the most favorite player that he has ever witnessed play basketball in his life. So that's his guy. He know that LeBron needs some of these game winners too. I ain't got the shot. And the bad part is he had to step back and had the
He
separation to
had
put the
it.
shot up. He had it, right? So when you throw that thing to LeBron and it's like, all right, here's a moment where I know I'm not going to get it back because, LeBron wants some glory at all times too. But the angle of the shot, the moment his feet wasn't gathered, LeBron spent all game in the corner. All of a sudden, you want me on the wing shooting this three? Nah, man. And like you mentioned, it's a team with no thumbs, dog. And that record, do with it what you want. But when it comes down to when you got to hit good pitching in the playoffs, like ones and
No, that's what it
twos,
is.
that thumb
They
pointing.
they don't lose to the number 4 starter. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, you can get to the playoffs in baseball by battering 4th and 5th starters.
Beating
But
the hell out of
playoffs
them.
only got 1s, 2s, and 3s.
And you're going to
Right?
get there. You're going to get there, and
Right?
some young boy is going, hey, for the next 11 days, I got
Yeah.
you. And I got a
Man,
name to make.
playing for that team is so wild because the LeBron situation, as it relates to, I think we all understand this is his last year with the Lakers. There's no scenario under which he can come back. I don't see a financial scenario under which this can happen. There's the unavoidable point that when he and Luka are on the floor together as a team, they are terrible. It just doesn't work. Like, I don't say that as an indictment of either player. That just works out like that sometimes. Like, those two guys can't play together. But they got to work out this whole year. If LeBron James was anybody else, they would have traded him by now, right? I think we talked about this on the show before. Anybody else, you're just like, hey, man, this one here ain't really a good fit. Let's just see what else we could get. I honestly don't know why any other team. This is kind of like when Barry Bonds got old. Like,
Right.
you still really good, man, but I don't think that's best for us
The juice ain't
right
worth the
now.
squeeze. Yeah.
Yeah, for a number of reasons. But they hit LeBron after the game, but then LeBron's like, hey, man, I thought he had the shot. But I guess he was off balance. I know I was off balance.
And LeBron is in this stage where, let's face it, there have been moments where we said, does he want to be the guy? And he's been the guy. Don't get it twisted. Like, he has carried
Yeah,
franchises
it's
on
been
his
a long
back.
time.
It's been a long, long time. But it's also been a long time since he could honestly be like, I'm not the best player on the team, even in his head. Like the Anthony Davis bubble run, like Anthony was out there doing things where it's like, this is why you're the number one pick. This is what everyone saw in you. And there was still some, hey, LeBron's still cold.
Yes.
Now it's like, you the dude. They traded for you. They don't want to go get Mark Williams for me, all these other things. And on top of it, I can kind of, slink on out of here. I don't know, man. It's you said it a lot about staying too long at the club. And I wasn't around to see, OJ as a 49er or Willie Mays.
Franco Harris with the Seahawks.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we saw Jerry at the end there with the Raiders and that kind of vibe, right? But when you see players who are, you don't remember them as anything but great, kind of
Right.
go out like this, like do you want to see LeBron running around Milwaukee, right?
Yeah.
Like the
Right. And look, man,
sentimentality, yeah.
he should play as long as he wants to play, right? Like, that's like, it's not for me to say. He should play as long as it is that he wants to play. But what I will always remember about Jerry Rice with the Raiders is not, and that wasn't his last stop. He had 2 more stops.
Yeah,
after the
Seattle and
Raiders.
Denver, right?
Seattle and Denver, right? But what I will always remember, it is not that Jerry Rice played for the Raiders. It is not that Jerry Rice had a season with 90-something catches and 1,000-something yards with the Raiders. You know what I'm going to say I'll always remember? That man had braids when he did not have hair. Nobody has ever been more dedicated to holding on to their youth than Jerry Rice was at the end, because there had to be extensions in that shit too. He had straight
Oh, he had
back.
the Clarkson?
Yeah, man, my homeboy Kirk. My boy Kirk referred to that as the black man's comb over. He was absolutely correct. Like, you don't
It's
have
real.
the hair to keep this up, but you just gonna keep on trying. Jerry had the twist for a little while. And let's not
He
forget,
did.
man, Jerry from somewhere in Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? Like this ain't, it was in San Francisco. Like, he wasn't like he was down there in Miami with them boys or nothing like that. Jerry Rice was holding on to youth harder than anybody ever had. And I feel like that, like, I don't feel like LeBron is doing that exactly, but it does feel a whole lot like after all this time and all these ventures, the man built a school, the man
Yeah.
started a production company. He still don't know what the hell to do with himself. So he just going to keep on playing basketball.
And the only thing that he has left, and the thing that we haven't seen because of just the physical marvel that he's been, is the injury. Like
Yeah.
the this is going to be a year or a half a year or the end of your career injury. Like, and you know, Father Time, like all you're doing is running up against that as much as you possibly can, missing the games to start the beginning of the season. Like I I wonder if his career, like, how do you think 20 years from now he will be talked about, right? Like, we've seen what's happened with Iverson. We've seen, obviously posthumously with Kobe, and what's
Mm-hmm.
happened with Mike, right? And how careers kind of bloom or how they kind of shrivel because how people feel about you, and they could actually get that shit off when you're not in the league anymore. How do you
Yeah.
think this gonna go? Because
I
I'm
think he's still going to be the guy for the post Jordan generation, right? Like, I think that eventually, who knows what media is going to be, but the kids who grew up as LeBron James stands eventually become the people who write and talk about basketball. And then they canonize the heroes of their youth in large part. I think the part that's going to be interesting about what it is for him after this point in his career is I think the idea and the plan for him was that he was going to retire a Laker, right? Like he was going to, like, Wilt Chamberlain is a Philly guy. He was a Philadelphia Warrior. He was a Philadelphia 76er, but he retired a Laker. Like, he stayed in LA. He became a part of LA. I would assume that the Lakers probably would build a statue of LeBron just because he's the all-time leading scorer. He will have played there for all that time, but they don't owe him one, right? Like, this isn't Kareem. This isn't Pat Riley. This tenure has, I would
yeah,
argue, fallen short of expectation. So what I think he's going to really lean in on is he is going to be a Cleveland Cavalier, right? That's going to
really.
be, I think Cleveland's going to be for him like what San Francisco was for Barry Bonds, which is you always got a home. You always got the place to go. And I think he's going to live in LA, right? I think he still wants to be part of that infrastructure, but Cleveland is going to be the place. I mean, you think it's a coincidence that the 75th anniversary All-Star game with the 75 players
Right,
is in
right, right,
Cleveland with LeBron
right,
James? And I'm about to say,
right.
it might have been a coincidence, just to be clear,
This is a
but
perfect one.
felt pretty tidy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's and even when you say that the people who are the LeBron stands who grew up are now the ones who are getting ready to write about his career or, tell stories about his career, there's a major like, I still to this day think the basketball gods robbed us of having that dude in the Eastern Conference and Kobe in the Western Conference
Yeah.
for all that time and not colliding. But with Kobe's passing, and also the legend of Kobe at the end of his career that bloomed even more, there's a lot of dudes, LeBron's contemporaries and younger, who have that Kobe dent in there where it's
That's
going to be
true.
like, yeah, we going to talk. Yeah, you might think you the best post Jordan, but
Mm.
because in depth, it's got that like Biggie Pac feel. Well, Biggie, especially to me, where it's like in depth, Kobe has been put in these conversations where we're talking about top fives that I was like, hey man, Kobe was amazing. And Kobe
Yeah.
threatened to put 81 on me in the locker room once because I asked him about his finger, and people going at it. So it's like he was that dude, but in death, and also with the dislike of LeBron James and social media being what it is, there's been he's never had that gliding moment of everybody understands and is on the same page that some of these other stars had, whether it be with
Yeah.
Steph, whether it be the Derrick Rose couple of years,
Well,
you know
well,
what I
well,
mean?
well, well, Kobe had to come back around to it, though, right? Like,
Mm,
Kobe had lost to people, and obviously, and then death turn. That's a longer discussion for a different day. But Kobe had to in his way come back into it. The other part that'll be interesting for LeBron is Michael Jordan is still a relatively young man, so he gets like the Joe DiMaggio greatest
and
living
still
ball
winning
player
shit.
treatment.
And still
Yeah,
winning
he
shit,
is.
by the
He
way.
still
Like,
is. He still
just
is.
bumping into wins. Like, yeah, oh yeah,
Hey, man.
Daytona, I do this.
Hey, look, man. Mike is like, everything. He is addicted to competition. Well, he's like, I do not have a gambling problem. I have a competition problem. That is correct, right? That sounds like an excuse. But I just can't imagine just what it's like being around Michael Jordan all the time, trying to bet on everything.
Hey, listen, I've had people who have hosted him in card games where it's like, oh no, the card game ain't over until Michael say everybody is tired because Michael gonna try to beat you out your money, win whatever money he lost, and try to embarrass you. So that's gonna be a good 8, 10 hours. So you buckle up, buckle up. Like the competition thing too. Like the frame and the lens of all these things post Jordan, and I think about it quite often. Like you mentioned the rings culture in talking about enjoying the NBA. The post Kobe, post Jordan, that's the archetype for the kind of killer that you want on a team, has taken away like some of the enjoyment that I think even LeBron would have. Like, think of LeBron if Mike loses one of those finals, or if Kobe doesn't have the run that he had while LeBron
At
was
the
in the
end.
league. Yeah, at the end too, especially like we talk favorably about really cool careers in a way that we just don't do anymore. You mentioned Luca and how people have kind of got adjusted to his game and
Right.
kind of had to reshape it because he's that dude. James Harden. If James Harden was doing this in the 80s, we refer to him the way we do with the Alex Englishes and the Adrian Dantleys of the world and cats who were like they didn't win, but I'll be damned if they didn't entertain the shit out of me
Right.
for 15 years. Even the bad teams. Like I remember watching Dallas like, hey, I know this team ain't gonna win them, but Rolando Blackman is gonna put 30 on your ass at some point, in this week. Like those enjoyment levels, post those two guys. I'm not saying, blaming those two guys, but post those two dudes and inside of this career, it's been a crazy like way to map out this Venn diagram of who really like how much do you like basketball, how much do you like lore, and also where do you want to find your entertainment at?
Well, it's going to be also, and I think that's a great point. And it's going to be very interesting to watch how that plays out as the years go, because I think we are in an era now that is most reminiscent of the 1970s, which is the
Mm,
dynasty free era of basketball. Like, we're not going to see, I don't think we're going to see guys winning 4, 5 championships. They've done everything they can to make it
right.
such that it would not work that way. Like, it's entirely
Are you cool with
possible.
that? You like that?
Um,
Do you need somebody
no,
to
I like the dynasty saga.
right?
I prefer the Dynasty Saga. I also think, though, in terms of the ways that we evaluate players and think about who's who and what's what, we're going to need to recalibrate that. Like the likelihood that there's anybody else that gets 4 rings, 5 rings, 6 rings. Forget about like we've acknowledged nobody's going to get 11 like Russell because it's just a different game, right? The Sam
Right.
Jones 8. Like we just know it's not going to be like that again,
Crazy.
right? And so we don't
Crazy.
very few of us say Michael Jordan will never be as good as Bill Russell because Bill Russell has 11 rings, right? Now, look, you can take it further. Bill Russell never lost a game 7. That is right? That is an insane stat. But we change the ways that we evaluate these things. LeBron is probably going to go down as the last superstar of the era where you could rack up 4 rings.
Mm,
Well, I guess Steph Curry is right there with him.
right.
But
Right.
but, but after those two guys,
Yeah. Yeah. And all the people see that's why this Oklahoma City thing is so interesting and San Antonio being where they're at because the league has pretty much told you draft and develop. But by the way, you're not going to be able to pay everybody that you draft and develop. And
yes,
now, you're going to be looking at it. All right, so is Dylan Harper more valuable than Devin Vassell, or is De'Aaron Fox too long in the tooth? And we're talking about a window that's just opening here for that San Antonio squad. I've always appreciated premium product and having something that is the mark of excellence and everybody's shooting for that. And the NBA that we kind of grew up in, where, the 90s Bulls, the 80s Celtics and Lakers, the late 80s Pistons, where it's like, all right, put your model together. And this is when they had different styles and the game wasn't so homogenized in the way that we watch it strategy wise. But like put your crew together and we're gonna figure out if they better than Sally and Lambeer and Mahorn and Rodman, like that
right.
front
And you're
court
gonna
where,
see them year after year after year.
right,
We gonna make
right,
some tweaks. It's gonna be
right.
some changes, but
Mark
it's gonna be the
Aguirre might jump
same.
in here, right? You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
But it's
yeah.
gonna be the same. Like, don't get it twisted. You're gonna know who it is. Like, that's why it's been a great time watching this Pistons Knicks situation, right?
Real
Thunder,
beef.
Thunder Spurs. All right, because look, here's the thing about this era. And this is where this Victor thing is going to get crazy. I don't know how much it's going to matter who these other people are that you put around Victor. Like, he the one that got a chance. He's the one that has the chance to be the one guy that can hold this all the way down.
I've been so intrigued with people not being as awestruck as I am. Like the Shohei Ohtani thing that's happening in baseball. Like for whatever reason, people have become like numb to the shit that he is
Right.
doing. I feel like on the Wemby side, it's like it's less people, and these the tallest people in the world, and he is making them look silly. Like
And
these
he's
are
hitting them with this right here.
everything. Like pull up threes. Like there's no part of his game where you're like, yeah, oh yeah, a 7'6" guy shouldn't be able to dribble. No, he doing that. He doing that. He taking off from the nail. The nail is where the most important defender usually has to be in the NBA. And he's like, guess what, guys? My arm, if I just reach from the nail, I got a finger roll, right? Like I like we play around. Like I don't know what it was to watch Jim Brown on a lacrosse field. You feel me? Like
Yo,
I don't know the first time Wayne Gretzky hit ice as a kid where people were like, nah, this shit shouldn't be happening. That's how I feel when I watch Wemby, where I'm like,
look.
if he having a bad night, it's only gonna dictate if you gonna have a good night.
Hey, John Henson went to Carolina, played with Milwaukee Bucks, a few other cats.
Yeah.
Love that guy. I haven't told John in a minute, but love that guy. He sent a tweet the other day where he said he asked Harrison Barnes how Victor was looking at us pickup runs during the summer. This is Harrison Barnes' response. I want to look up something right fast as I prepare to give this to you.
Shout out Dave B.
Harrison Barnes' response to John Henson when he asked him how he looked at the summer league runs was, I quote, like Wilt.
See?
Harrison Barnes is 33 years old.
Right.
Okay? And
Right.
the reference
Is Wilt.
he had to pull out
Is Wilt.
was Wilt.
Was
And let me
Wilt
tell you something about
Chamberlain.
Wilt. Let me explain something very important about Wilt. As like ESPN and Sports Talk Radio and everything has come into the discussion about who are the best players, it's kind of like we wound up with this world where everybody had Biggie and Pac as they top two MCs, where there was actually prior to this a much richer discussion of who was there. And there are lots of criticisms to be made of Wilt Chamberlain and his quote unquote will to win and all of that stuff. But it's a whole lot of bit of that time that is still like nobody was better than that dude. There's no, like the idea that anybody gets compared to Wilt. I watched that Wilt Dr. Kevin Garnett produced on Showtime, and the closest I saw to that was Giannis. But Wilt wasn't even doing this stuff that this cat is out here doing.
Nah, the Wembanyama thing is for me. If you want to tell me that he is not only the best player in the league right now, but barring injury will be for the next 10 years, and on top of it, we're talking about some of the greatest talent. Like, say what you want about basketball IQ. Obviously, guys are doing drill work. Not enough 5-on-5 is being played. You see it out there all the
Right.
time where guys just don't know how to play with each other. But if you want to tell me that cat against the dudes that he's running up against now with modified defenses and all the nerds in the front office saying this is where this person likes to shoot from, keep him off of this. You can't keep him off of any spot. And on a night that he really want to find people, he's going to get you 6-7 assists if you hit some shots. And then the gravity that he has. Like the reason why a lot of these injuries we see happening around the NBA is because dudes start to pick and roll damn near half court. I got a straight shot, bullet speed downhill at you. This dude is doing those things. They have the gall to be running pick and roll where he's the ball handler. Like when I saw DeMar Johnson in Cincinnati when he was 6'9", 6'10", shooting two guard, I'm like, oh, this is what they making? Like, and
Right.
DeMar Johnson, bad crash, had the neck
Neck
incident,
injury.
like never really took off the way that I thought his talent would belie. But man, that's 6'10". Like this dude be in jump ball
He's 7
situations.
inches taller than DeMar Johnson.
Dog, ain't got a winner jump shot. Like when the whole when Shaq said the thing about Bo, I was like, why would you put like all of this entire year where all these so-called NFL people were putting Shedeur Sanders in a bad spot by just saying things that just shouldn't be said, like let him work through it? Why would you ever say, you know what, I see the same skill set in Bo? Guess what, fam? Guess who the responsibilities have been handed over to? Not Bo. This man's running
No.
pick and roll, top of the key, pick and roll. He's in the corner for a spot up three if you need him. Nothing is happening in the paint. People's 2 point percentages plummet not by 3, 4. We're talking 11 percentage points defensively. And you're an economist. You know when some shit changes minus 11, that is the Great Depression of offense in that paint. No, I
Just
don't think people. I don't think people understand what we watching.
imagine, like, what's the scouting report look like? Because like Gilbert Arenas talk about this all the time. Like his thing about Iverson was he was the whole scouting report. Like there was no question about anybody else. The whole scouting report was what we gonna do with Allen Iverson. So, what is your scouting report about when the Spurs are on defense? Head on swivel,
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And
high
then you
arc.
can you can lie to your bigs. Like it's a lot of lies in the scout report. Like do your work early, beat them down the court, and get physical with them. That man is 2 steps from half court to the rim. What are we talking about? Beat him early. You kidding me? These are mere more. These are when you see a 6'8" basketball player walk into a restaurant, the presence that person comes in with is, it's a thing, right? Them dudes walk in and you're like, oh, they don't make them like this, right? It's the reason why Dustin Pedroia winning an MVP in baseball is like, oh, it's the everyman sport. That
Right.
dude he can be, he can be my electrician.
Good for
When
you.
a 6'8" dude is looking at Victor Wembanyama like, I don't know what to do with this. And that's the prototype in the league. 6'8" wing. You get you some 6'8" wings, you cooking with gas. Rui Hachimura is looking at Victor Wembanyama like, what? For what? For what? What you want me to do? You want me to hedge?
You spend
You want?
you spend your whole offseason working on up fakes.
Yeah, that's it.
That's your only move is a head fake. That's what
That's
you're
it.
doing this summer. Except this motherfucker don't even actually have to jump to pitch your shit. He
That's
just
the
does
other.
that for the exercise.
Wait till he get mad. Like
And that's
we
already
wait,
starting to happen.
but I'm talking about the bump your head in the playoffs, man. Because this don't happen this year. There's gonna be some shit where somebody don't show up, or he has a game where he ain't shooting well. There's gonna be some weird game 5 where all these referendums come out. Victor was 7 for 19 with only 6 blocks, and watch what I tell you. If that man went to go visit Monks when people was like, "Hey man, you a fashion icon. You're bringing back French basketball. Y'all going to win a gold medal here soon." And you are going to be the face of the league where you're recreating what the audience in an NBA arena looks like to make it more adaptive to what happens overseas. Like, wait till he get pissed and have that Magic Johnson, Tragic Johnson situation where you go cry for a couple of months and you come back on a
Oh,
rampage.
hold on though. That was what the
Yeah,
Olympics was in 24.
I think it was a taste. I
You
think it
know
was a
what? I
taste.
think that's fair, but because he did
I
let
think it
me
was
tell
a
you,
taste.
that one's going to bear fruit in 4 years.
Oh yeah,
I
no.
am
Yeah, enjoy
terrified.
yourselves.
It's gonna be that red, white, and blue is cool, but that blue blanc rouge is
Hey,
how
Cooper,
salty he got to be.
Cooper Flag. Who else? All these freshmen that's in
Chet
college.
gonna be on, dude. Chet gonna be on that team, and you know how he feel about Chet.
There's nothing worse than when somebody got beef with you and you like, I don't want this. Like, why
Right,
are we doing this? Like
right.
Chet,
And I think Chet
Chet ain't on
started
it
with
like that.
Chet started with I got beef back, and then I think the futility of it has become clear.
Yeah, oh no. I wasn't talking about like he didn't reply. I'm talking about
Yeah.
the resignation. I mean, come on, dog.
Yes. So
Like,
that's what that's what I'm saying. Like at
Mama
first, because you
told you,
remember,
hey, there's somebody tougher than you at all times. Yeah.
but what you got to remember is that Chet's older than him. So they have been playing
Right,
against each other all these years. And what
right.
that means is at some point there was a passing that took place. And so Chet probably was able to bully him at a point. And that point
Hey,
is over. And he got the whole squad hating Chet. He hates Chet that much.
hey, the
Then you
whole
know
French
this,
rep.
man. He out here going to hang out with the monks, Chet in the videos with the backward hat and the money sign on the chain. You know he ain't about him.
That Oklahoma City run, and we talked about it a couple of times during the finals, where like that team, I don't know, and it's the old head in me, tap my Bluetooth, barbecue sandals is wearing old head in me, right? I I sat there and saw myself rooting for Ben Shepherd and Benedict Mathurin and Tyrese Halliburton. Like that Oklahoma City Thunder team, for some, is an easy team to be like, you know what, y'all cold as hell, but y'all, there's something there. Like y'all was them kids in high school, right? And Victor don't know nothing about any of y'all Americanized ways. He here to kick y'all out. I knew hell was coming when a few World Cups ago, I saw Kylian Mbappe for the first time, and I was like, wait, when the French squad gonna come out here? I was like, oh,
Yeah.
shout out to colonization.
Yeah,
They
France decided to start treating soccer like America did with basketball. Like, do you want to see yourself, or you want to see
you want the
some
title or not?
Gagne, I believe is the word.
Bunch of
Coming up,
continents. Yeah, you
yeah,
start to
there we go.
start to
There
see
we
the
go. There
vibes.
we go. They still mining, still harvesting, right? Still
Right.
still bringing it home. But coming up next, we got more coming up, including I need to find out what Goff think about the idea of the Eagles trading A.J. Brown. Ever wanted to go to the NBA Finals? Well, now's your chance, courtesy of FanDuel. All you have to do is use your profit boost on an NBA future, and you'll be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for two. NBA futures let you lock in your pick for who you think will go all the way, whether it's a team to win the championship or a conference title. Visit fanduel.com/Bomani to get started. Play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA.
21 plus and present in select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in DC, Kansas, Wyoming. Opt-in requirement. Awards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsduel.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
It's the biggest time of year for college basketball. Great moments, fierce rivalries, and incredible high-stakes action. Teams face off against each other, and along the way, there are surprises, comebacks, and upsets. It's anyone's game. Well, regardless of who makes it to the final round, one thing's for certain. It takes the most talented people to build these incredible teams. The same goes when you're hiring. If you want your business to be at the top of its game, you need the best people on your team. The place to find them is ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/Bomani. ZipRecruiter's smart matching technology immediately finds qualified candidates that check all your boxes. ZipRecruiter recommends screening questions you can easily add to get the highest quality applicants. Want to see who's recently active? ZipRecruiter's filters can show you. Score the best for your team with ZipRecruiter. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/Bomani. That's ziprecruiter.com/Bomani. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. All right, we are back with Jason Goff. I keep seeing people talk about how the Eagles, they must be tired of A.J. Brown, and so they need to trade A.J. Brown. And I don't know about you, but I don't know if you have ever been in a place where you work somewhere and you said that it was a problem and everybody knew it was a problem. But now, and you are better at what you do than the problem. But rather than do something about the problem, they decide that you the problem for saying that there's a problem. And that saying that there's a problem is what is actually the problem, even though everybody knows that the problem is a problem, but you the problem for saying something about the problem. I feel like that's what they're saying about A.J. Brown, and I feel like that is loser behavior.
It's been such a weird story to track where we've been programmed, and even with the words, right, like diva, and there's a lot of coded language when we talk about wide receivers and how far they are away from the line of scrimmage and how dependent they are, and the psychoanalysis of the wide receiver position. That every once in a while, they say some things where it's like, oh yeah, them the boys that's gonna say it if anything, and sometimes you gotta listen. Problem I think that has occurred is one. Jalen he's performed in some huge moments
He
that
has.
have bought him enough of this space and enough of this room, and we still running around like half the quarterbacks in the league ain't black anymore. So anytime a brother is accosted, even if it's by another brother, hey, hold on now.
But here's the thing: the
Don't let
other
him hit
brothers
you.
the other brothers are more likely to accost the brother. That is that is an important detail of this. But here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
But you tell me if I'm tripping here. You're right. Jalen Hurts has performed in those moments, but I think we generally agree that he is the limiting factor of the offense, right? He was the limiting factor at 2 colleges. He is the limiting factor here with this offense, but he is it's an intractable situation with him, right? Like he's the quarterback, guys. He's the quarterback now. He's going to be the quarterback. And that is why A.J. Brown is the problem for saying that the problem is the problem. And they can't quite solve the problem. So all they can do is try to get themselves some peace. The thing is, if they trade him, it's $43 million worth of dead money. All of that for me is to say, he ain't going no goddamn where. He's going to be right back there next year.
Yeah. And on top of all that, like, I think we're in a different time where wide receivers become more available and ready to play in the draft than they have in, I think, a long time. Like, I remember the days where the Rod
Oh,
Gardners of
you
the
never
world
knew.
and the Javon Walker and David Terrell, and you're looking at guys who put up big numbers in college, and you're like, all right, I don't know if this guy's going to be cold or not on the next level because for whatever reason, certain things didn't translate. Now, you got cats who are getting like running back status in terms of drafting, where it's like, oh, go get one 4th, 5th round. Puka Nacua, cold. Like Cooper
Right.
Kupp had a terrific run out of Eastern Washington. I mean, yeah, you got anybody who come out of
Devontae
Ohio
Adams, the
State.
3rd round pick.
Right. So
Antonio Brown, 7th round pick.
Right. So I think they might be thinking too, put a little pressure on you to shut up. We can move you and go do whatever we need to do if we have to go get a wide
Man,
receiver of less repute. But
they ain't about to be eating no $43 million.
they can't. And also, if you're AJ, like this shows you how committed, and in a real valiant way to me, this shows you how committed he is and how much I think he truly wants to win. He just thinks, hey, and he's right. Give me the ball. We're going to win more. If he was quiet about this, right? If he didn't say anything, like say this year he goes on a full, I'm going to abstain from saying anything about the offense, and they perform the same way. Won't it be as loud now that you've already set this ground? You know what I mean? Now that you done opened up a couple of books on the sideline, which still to me is the wildest shit all time. In certain sections, being that passive aggressive, you're gonna have to knuckle up, But the fact that he is A.J. Brown in an Eagles locker room and nobody did it, show you how tough that motherfucker truly is. The fact that A.J. Brown has already laid this groundwork, right? And even in the quotes, like Devontae Smith don't get a lot of this because he's seen as the quiet one. He was
But he
saying a
say the
lot of
same
the same
stuff.
shit. Yeah.
Say the
So
same
now,
stuff.
so now everybody can back off and be like, all right, let's go do it. Go play as hard as you have been playing. But if you need a running back to run for 2,000 yards for this offense to work, that's letting you know something.
Right. But see, that also is why the idea of moving on from A.J. Brown is a problem, because the rest of those cats know that the problem is not saying something about the problem. Right.
But how does the problem get better then?
Yeah, I don't have an answer for that. But if you start running people out for saying that the problem is the problem, and everybody else knows that the problem is the problem, now your problem is going to be that these other cats now have even more of a problem with the problem because telling the truth has now become the problem. And you can't never have a circumstance where telling the truth
Right.
is the problem.
Well, welcome to this season of America. Uh, yo, so this is the thing too. With all this that's going, all the noise that go around that situation with Nick Sirianni and the start that he's had to his career, where it's like, look at the wins and losses and look how he disrespect this entire situation. AJ Brown, the terrific group of receivers. I think Jalen Hurts sometimes gets to ride on I'm smooth. Your girl want me. I'm a wholesome man. The, the way that these dudes talk and the way like AJ, the dude who pipe up seemingly like, hey y'all know how it gets down behind closed doors in here. I ain't gonna
Right.
be the only one that look crazy. Like Jalen, you
Dude.
get $200 million, you moving and shaking behind the scenes. Like the dude is the son of a coach, right? Like
Yeah.
he knows what pressure points to push behind the scenes. So he ain't got. That's why anybody that come to you that way as calmly as he does in the face of chaos or storm is like I've only known dope dealers to behave this way. To be honest with you, where it's like it's all good, and you're like, oh no, it ain't all
No.
good. Something is happening in the background
Well,
right
yo,
now.
so like where I would be hot if I was AJ, and again, another place where I have been before, um, there's nothing worse when you the
Right,
only one saying was wrong, and everybody leaving you out there, right?
right.
When you do it, they be like, yeah, dog, yeah, we needed that. Somebody had to say that. And you be like, hey man, I can't be the one that do this all the time, man, because otherwise I'm gonna become the problem if y'all don't get a little louder
And I
in
don't want
here.
to be the problem. I'm
Right,
addressing the
right. And so
problem.
maybe the problem is AJ Brown just too good at it because he be using books and stuff like that. But somebody else got to come out here and stand with me.
Hey man, you just made me think of a moment. Do you remember? You probably don't. Tyreek Evans for the Sacramento Kings back in the day at the United Center. The Bulls were up 27 or something like that, and Tyreek Evans went on one of those tears where it's like, oh my God, this
A name I
is
haven't thought of in so long, by the way.
it was so amazing to watch that display of shot making and the dude just being the best cat on the court in his second year. We all get back to the media room, Bo, and everybody, and this is after Vinny had a tough run of it, and everybody's talking about it, and everybody's
Oh,
like, man,
Vinny
that's a
Dill.
Vinny Del Negro. Man, everybody's like, that's a game you get fired. That's one of them things. Why my dumb ass sit right there in the media room and was like, yo, are you worried about your job security? And the entire room, record scratch, they all look at me like, I can't believe you asked that. I'm like, wait a minute, we was all just talking about this. We was all they, and then the worst thing in a media group like that is everybody asking the question. Hey, so what was the substitution pattern, and what do you think? Like they started to fluff it up for him. Man, do you know Vinny walked out that joint and dapped me up and was like, I know what's happening. I understand that was a bad game. It's like sometimes the problem just needs to be addressed, and if the problem has any accountability, they'll let you know. They'll let you know. It feels like AJ Brown knows that Jalen Hurts is hearing the problem be addressed, and their problem has not been addressed in the background. Like it feels like a cat who, like, hey man, you know, I know what I'm not doing out there. You know what I'm not doing out there. You feel me? Let's keep this smooth. Let's get this paper ready. Break. It doesn't feel like that conversation has happened with this crew. That's why AJ just keep popping up. You know what? Until the conversation happens, I'm just gonna let y'all know what should be going down here,
Dog,
right?
remember when they tried to act like they had a summit and it turned out that they just talked in the parking lot right quick?
Hey, everybody hit the self starter on the car. I got 2 minutes, gang. I gotta go pick somebody up. What we doing in here? Hey, man, the offense ain't running this smoothly. It sound like a plan. All right, cool. Everybody go, man. I think that worked out. Like that's one of them means where you're like that went well. That went well, right? And then you find out your ass is gonna be in Jacksonville next year because nobody
Yes.
thinks that Jalen Hurts is the one to go against. And hey, man. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Like he's been in big situations his entire life, and people have been like, and he survived. I
Yep.
mean, I don't. Shout out to Philadelphia because this is the end of a run, and they doing it with that defense. Like
They are.
that defense, that those Georgia dudes are sitting on the other side. Like that's the other thing too. In that locker room, at some point, one of them Georgia boys is gonna be like, "I'm used to more points being scored." Like I'm
Right.
used I'm used to Jalen Carter's going to wake up and be like, you know what? I don't like the fact that my wide receiver is constantly calling out my offense and I can't do it. You know, at
Yeah.
some point, it's got to happen.
Hey, man, before we get out of here, I don't know if you've seen this. It's from the Combine. Man, motherfuckers be doing their radio shows and shit from the Combine now. That is crazy. But you get great guests. I hadn't really thought about that, right? And everybody at the Combine, I've never been there, but they really be looking forward to the Combine. It sounds like a sausage party to me. But them cats, like, that's their time to catch up with all the homies. And, anyway.
It's a different kind of hanging out. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
okay. Yeah. I think we've talked
two
about
Americans
this.
kind of hanging out.
Yeah. Two Americas in a city with one restaurant. And if you're from Indianapolis, I'm sure you got more than one restaurant. It's just only one restaurant that any of us have heard of. Anyway,
that's it.
Andrew Berry, general manager of the Browns, was up there and said that they're going to have a quarterback competition this year coming. It's going to be Deshaun Watson. It's going to be Dylan Gabriel. It's going to be Shedeur Sanders. I don't know who else they're going to throw into the mix. And I've seen people like, I don't feel like quarterback competition is the right way to put it. Like, in theory, it will be a competition, but the bottom line is the idea that those are your three guys and you really don't have an answer. Like, the fact that it's possible that any of them can start is terrible. Like all those guys have a chance.
That's if I'm Arch Manning, I'm like, yo, can I go play college basketball? Like, can I get drafted in the NBA and then come back and get some eligibility? Because it's a tough situation, man. I don't, I'm not in these waters anymore. I'm not in the club of a fan base who doesn't have a quarterback. You feel me? Like in my 40,
Here we go.
I'm not. Here in Chicago, we don't have these kind of poverty conversations about quarterbacks anymore. You feel me?
So
Not at 18 is running around doing podcasts where he talking like Jesus himself. That Max Crosby podcast where I'm like, hey, this man is talking like Michael Jordan in football pants. But no, man, Shedeur, everything that's been put on him and also the things that he has accepted. He seems like a swell young dude. Like he's trying to make his way in the social media world that has corrupted all the young folk. You know what I mean? And then you got Deshaun, who, his superpower seemingly came from being, you know what I mean? Like, you think about the wild shit that he was engaging in and what we was watching when he was engaging in that. Like that dude, Samson is real. You know what I mean?
My thought on him is it's hard to traffic in this world when you've been exposed to be a fraud. Like knowing that everybody can see through you. And you supposed to be making split-second decisions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, and then the Dylan Gabriel thing, like, there are certain quarterback rooms where you're just looking for the next guy, and that is one of those rooms. Nobody's coming from that. And I know people want to, because I think Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield got a lot of people twisted where it's now you can just go out and get some redemption story at the quarterback position and be okay. Like dudes out here long relievers after Tommy John or something like that. Like the league tell you, they give you a certain amount of data on a player, and that player then grows with that data. This ain't that. Like that room is short, slow, and nasty. You know what I mean? If I was describing a quarterback room, I wouldn't want those to be the three modifiers that I go with. You know what I'm saying? Like one dude is 5'9", right?
You're never and that whole August, they gonna be talking that shit up, boy. They gonna be trying, at least in local, and as if it matters. Like Andrew Berry basically said, so what? What's the point? Dominique was making the point that worst case scenario for the Browns is that Deshaun Watson on nasty ass get out there and start killing it, and now you got to re-sign him. And I'm like, no, that'd be the best thing that ever happened to you. That's the worst trade of all time, right? Trade plus the contract.
Guaranteed.
It
Yeah,
is
yeah,
the
yeah.
worst transaction any team has made. And then he went and suffered a debilitating injury after he'd already had the ACL.
Yeah, yeah,
That he had
yeah.
an ACL in college.
Dude, I remember. So when I was in Atlanta, they brought him to 92.9 The Game, and I wasn't at that time hip on not only just the impact of recruiting day in the South, but also how 17-year-olds can be treated like little kings. And I saw him come through, quiet, understated dude, and the photographer is sitting there, and he's just cheesing and he's just snapping pictures, and I'm like, "Hey, this is a big deal for you, huh?" Like I'm trying to figure. And he tells me who he is, and then he tells me I'm a Clemson fan. This dude is going to win me, and he said win me a national championship. I was like, oh, this must be one of the gods of this thing. Like this shorty is that. And then you watch what he was doing at Clemson, and you're like, okay, this is on some like Steve McNair, like this is the
He's the closest to the
tough
Vince Young comp.
tough as hell too, getting his ass beat in some of those football games. So for all that to just dissipate with injury and scandal and all those things, man, if he go out there and get any of that back, I'm not saying any of that stuff should be overlooked and will be overlooked because we know it's gonna follow him forever. But yeah, the Browns, the Brown at this point, Miles Garrett just sitting there like, hey, give me anything, gang. Like, give
Hey,
me.
look, man.
I'm clean. I'm clean as a whistle. Like
Miles
my
Garrett.
girl winning gold medals and shit. Like I'm good money. Just
Hey,
put
man.
something over there that's gonna help me out.
Miles Garrett pulled up to Super Bowl Radio Row last year asking for a trade, and they was like, "How about some money?" And he was like, "Oh, that'll work too."
That'll do it. That'll do it. Is that old Les Miles? Like, hey man, they hiring over here, right? Oh damn, not another 11 million. Cool. All right. I guess you right. They ain't say nothing on the other side. No conversation's been had, but you just give them. No, you right.
Yeah,
You right.
he just told us there is and look, I'm not mad at him for it, just to be
At
clear. But
all.
there's a price he's willing to pay to lose.
Hey, listen, man. When I saw Mario Williams go to Buffalo happily, you know what I'm saying? Like Mario Williams, like, hey, man, this is it. You said 90 what? You know what I mean? Like, you know how old I am. You know who you giving this money to, right? And that's the dude who's just fishing, hanging out. Houston. Like, but now, dog, yeah, if I'm gonna get my brains beat in on a weekly
Yeah.
basis and be the coldest, like bar none at my position in my sport, yeah, just give me the bread, man.
Yeah, like Miles
Yeah.
Garrett is gonna be like, if it was back in the day, like his NFL Films episode gonna be crazy, right? Like he gonna be in there in the same video with LT, right? In the same video with Reggie
Real deal.
White, like the cutting edge or whatever they want to call it or whatever. He be that cat right over there, and he's just like, hey man, I just got all I can be assured of is getting this bread.
That's it.
That's it.
That's
Did you see that pod he did the other day with Micah
Micah,
Parsons? First of all, that Micah Parsons,
a handful.
he is a handful and found himself in an unexpected battle of wits, and he was not prepared for.
Underarmed.
Yeah, he did not. He didn't have the artillery that was necessary because Myles Garrett was just firing his ass. And look, Michael Parsons, stone cold beast, but his explanations for why he's different than Myles Garrett fell completely flat in every way. And Myles Garrett was answering him about those things like he wasn't Myles Garrett. Like he was answering
Very
him
curt
just like
manner.
just an objective observer.
This is the thing. Nobody that cold would be this anonymous in any other sport
No,
because we've known for a long time this dude paints. This dude loves writing poetry. You know what I mean?
Anime cat.
Anime, yeah. When the Mason Rudolph shit popped off, immediately it was like, oh no, he said something because this dude, he has the physical stature to murder people at any time, any place he wants to, and would rather be putting together, collages.
Legos. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Legos.
yeah, yeah. I remember when I first saw him in Texas A&M, I was like, oh, no, you should be the first pick. And they're like, Jason, he's a sophomore. I'm like, I don't give a shit. He should be the first pick in the draft. Like, it's those dudes come along. So for him to be as understated as he is and then get on the couch with a dude. First of all, if you Micah Parsons, like sometimes you just gotta know. Like he said, it's still my time. Sometimes you just gotta know. I didn't finish the season because I was injured. My team lost to our bitter rival in one of the more painful fashions in forever. And now I gotta talk crazy. Nah, man, you gotta keep it
He
moving.
just broke the sacks record.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta some battles like the MCs who don't respond. That be looking the word like this
Hey,
Ti
man.
50 thing.
Yeah,
50
yeah,
he can't
yeah.
respond.
Hey, man, sometimes you have to recognize, even if it's not just overall, even if it's just in this moment, right? I got into something once on the radio with Jay Billis, and it was when Ben Howland was at the end of his time at UCLA. And Dan kind of, I think, brought it up, and I made some point. And I don't think I was being a dick about it, but I will tell you this, for whatever reason, and I don't know what the reason is, this was a very serious topic for Jay Billis. And it did not take very long for me to recognize that this was not a winning proposition for me, nor was it a victory I was that concerned with. And I was just like, hey man, I gotta tap out of this.
Get out
Like
of
I
here.
can try to fight this if I want to. That's only gonna make it worse. Because Jay, let me tell you, man, Jay is a formidable opponent. All right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I just remember at some point, Jay said, Bomani, do you have anything else? I was just kind of like, nah, man, you got it. And I remember I was talking to Dan after. I was like, yo, he got me, right? And Dan's like, well, he was being a dick. I'm like, nah, man, that's not the point. He got it. Like,
That's it.
that's it. I didn't win this time. I have to accept the fact that I did not win this one. Michael Parsons was losing and just kept. You know what he kept doing? He was putting his shot up, and Victor just kept pitching it, but he just kept on shooting it. And at no point did he think, man, maybe I should just dribble this out or let the shot clock run out. You know, nope.
Maybe it's time for somebody else. Maybe it's time for somebody. There's strength in that understanding, right? As men, we all been around a dude who like, hey man, you're not making this better for anybody around us. Like we were around a dude who always got the craziest thing to say or the hottest take and then don't have anything to back it up and want to keep going in. You just say, hey man, sometimes you just want to back up off that thing, let it breathe a little bit. You know what I mean? And you look like the cat who's like, hey man, you know what? I know when to concede. Knowing when to concede is powerful.
Also,
it's powerful.
Turning an L into a W in one of these contexts takes more time than the internet allows.
You ain't never lied.
You're going to need to deconstruct this whole thing, strip it all the way down to the bottom, and then perhaps bring yourself back up to the top. Like your regular audience might hear it. Okay.
Micah coming back with a PowerPoint of double teams.
Yeah. It's gonna take a while. Or you're gonna need to let that shit go on for so long that you can slightly divert the topic, and we're actually no longer talking about what we was talking about before, but it's some shit that you write about.
Yeah. And you gotta know your opponent too. Like, the way that you comport yourself and the way that he comports himself.
In this case, I think it was a little less about knowing your opponent than it was about knowing thyself. I used to CJ Stroud used to cook his ass too.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I don't think that we talked about Wemby earlier. I don't think that playoff performance got nearly enough. Like you talk about the microwave society that we live in. Social media is amazing, but back in the day, back in my day, when things were allowed to cook a little bit, 4 interceptions in the first half of a playoff game wouldn't just have been a blip on the radar.
No. It was bad, man. It was really bad. It was, and we was talking about it real bad when it happened. But the truth is, there ain't nothing they can do about it right now. There's just, and it was coming off the game before when he was also terrible. There's no solution to this. We were talking about him like the best rookie quarterback we'd ever seen. There is no solution. And so, yeah, we could talk about it, but
ain't nothing gonna change.
Like if he played for the Cowboys, if he played for a team that had a national following, we would talk about it. But otherwise, it's like, okay, what they're not going to do is extend him right now. Right? He going to have to play another year. And he should want to play another year before he gets that extension.
Get his name
the extension they going to give him right now. it ain't gonna be what he had been dreaming of.
Yeah, it's crazy to me how like we are getting to that place now where because it's a copycat league in the NFL where people are thinking how bad of a quarterback can I win the Super Bowl with? You
Mm-hmm.
know, like and how that might affect the draft. Like this draft, I remember going to college football season last year, how it was supposed to be 4 or 5 dudes who was supposed to be first rounders, and all of them shit the bed seemingly.
That's
All
right.
outside, and Fernando Mendoza and Ty Simpson rose to the top, and now we're having conversations about how small Ty Simpson is, and if Fernando
Yeah.
Mendoza
No,
can
man,
play
you
off
don't want to be
schedule.
out. You don't want to be out in these streets trying to find one.
Yeah,
I mean, the
wow,
Texans had to draft the dude that got into a heated argument with the offensive coordinator on the visit.
yeah, yeah.
Like, my
Forgot about
understanding
that.
is that he went into that draft knowing the one place he wouldn't be going was Houston.
So he let him know.
Yeah, and then it was like, hey, man, we can't afford to be letting that little shit like that get in the way. You know, like, nah, like look, he's who they've got. We gonna see what it turns into, but I don't know how bad he'd have to play.
Man, that Houston thing too. There's some PTSD with that too, because for all those years that they was kind of cold too with Andre John, like Matt Schaub, it was always that wild card weekend where Matt Schaub and Andy Dalton was going to be facing off that first playoff game of the postseason, right? Like now you're in that affective. Okay, the second tier of AFC quarterbacks and how it's kind of being reshuffled, and people don't like Justin Herbert. CJ Stroud has that kind of performance, like. It's a weird world. Like I keep mentioning, man, like I keep saying, this last year of quarterback comfort that I've been experiencing as a Bears fan, I'm not having these squalor filled conversations with all of y'all quarterback brokies out here. You feel
Nah,
me?
you know what it is though? Like, and it's an interesting thing nobody really talk about. Those of us who are fans of the NFC North, man, with the exception of the
I
Vikings,
keep forgetting.
we all feel pretty good about where we at.
I keep forgetting you in
The
this
Vikings
line
just got a
shit.
quarterback situation, but like I still feel good about where I'm at. I'm happy that you now feel good about where your squad is at. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, going into this season, NFC North, if you had to rank those quarterbacks, I know who be at the bottom,
Well, I know who's
obviously,
at
because
4.
yeah, we know who's at 4. But hey, man,
I
I
feel
don't
pretty
know.
confident. Like I think we're pretty clear on who's at 4 and who's at 1. I mean, I know you don't feel this way about 1, but I think 1 is pretty obvious.
You think it's Jordan?
Yes.
Do you? He got enough. He got enough Roethlisberger in him, man. He got enough
Yeah,
double
but
agent in
I'd
him.
rather have him than Jared Goff, Kim Folk. And right now, I'd rather have him.
Hey, listen, all I know is quarterback spoke about what didn't happen on the final play with DJ Moore and treated him like a professional. First thing smoking at the combine, Ryan Poles is like, "Hey, listen, we are here to upgrade our team." When he was asked about DJ Moore, that man is getting wide receivers cut. You hear me? Like there's moving and shaking going on at Hallis Hall because the man with painted nails is coming down, and he's coming down. Hey, like their old colors, Hey, we can run down and get one, or we can walk down and get them all. It's a slow walk. It's a slow walk. We had to get Matt Eberflus off our jacket, but we ready to rock now, baby. You know what I mean? Yeah. You talking about some Jordan Love? He got wide receivers who can't stay healthy, can't catch the ball. He got a big hat dude. There's no dude in the NFL running around with a big hat that you respect. None.
I ain't
None.
gonna lie. I said about that left guard for the Patriots. I'm like, yo, man,
The big hat.
the big hat is making you a target.
That's it. That's it. Like they need a big hat breakout. Like with a dude who just go crazy. Like Jackson Smith and Jigba need to wear the big hat and have an 1,800-yard season. So it's kind of like when Tony Kukoc and Dino Roger came over. It's like, hey, these European cats. They kind of saw. It's like, nah, they've been having the slingshots and tanks culture for a long time over there. Like, don't you know what I mean? Don't sleep on their toughness. But you had to see it. You needed proof of concept. There needs to be a big hat proof of concept guy. Romeo Dobbs ain't gonna be that dude for me. I'm sorry, gang.
Miles Garrett got to get the big hat. That's
Somebody
what we need.
one of the cold ones got to get the big hat. One of the cold ones got to be that enthused about protecting their brain that they take the stigma up off of it. That's all. That's all it is. You feel me? Like back in the days when you see the cat with the duck tail. right? Like, Houston, Dallas, there's some interesting, hair combinations and haircuts, right? I used to see the cat with the ducktail back in the day. I'm like, you know what? The first time I see one of those dudes pull that off without somebody making a mention of his ducktail in a derogatory way is when I, think it's okay. The big hat is the same way for me. I'm cool. I'm cool. We ain't got no big head dudes on the Bears, and if we do, Roshan Johnson, Texas running back up to Bijan Robinson. That's backup behavior with that big hat. Kidding me? It's football. I need regular hat dudes out there.
And
Sick of
that
this.
is Jason Goff. Check him out at the Ranger. Check her out at the Athletic. My brother, I appreciate you.
Hey man, we gotta get together soon. We gotta get the fellas together, and hit Joel up, and hit Dominique up, get Kravis, get Brumley out here. We gotta go on a world tour. And I
Yeah, you
mean
got
like
to bet.
a domestic world tour. I know
Yes.
you going on literal world tours
Yeah,
out
yeah,
here,
yeah,
but
yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
domestic world tour for us
Yeah.
that got little ones
Yeah,
to
we'll
hang out
we'll
with
try to
too.
give Joel enough time to get himself free. We can see what happens, man. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for
Yes,
joining us here
sir.
on The Right Time. We do this 4 days a week. Ryan Brumley handling everything behind the scenes. Thank you, sir. Remember, hit the voicemail line 323-596-7767. Remember, follow The Right Time. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. We'll talk to you guys in a couple of days. Take it easy.